So, with that, let's talk about social media. How do we approach social media in a way that's going to be most meaningful for a takeaway for results in the organization? Well, you got to start with these 4 areas. You got to determine what your objectives are. It's not, oh, we need a presence on Facebook. That's not an objective. That's a reason, not a good one. But we need an objective. Are we trying to be better at customer service and want to do it socially online? Are we trying to create or generate more leads or opportunities socially online? What is the objective we're trying to achieve? If we don't know what it is, how do we take the people in our organization that know social media, that interact with the clients and prospects on a daily basis, and determine our objectives? Once we get those objectives determined, then we can talk about audience segmentation. And segmentation is something I will continually bring up because you have the opportunity to segment your audience very, very defined online. Every audience segment should have a profile. So for example, Ladies Who Launch, Women Entrepreneur Organization, nationwide. They've got 4 profiles of an audience segmentation of women entrepreneurs. They've got aspiring entrepreneurs, they've got entrepreneurs that have started a business, they've got successful entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs in a company. Well, think about it. Every one of those profiles wants different types of content, has a different type of relationship with the people that we're working with day in and day out. So we need to kind of take those objectives and make sure we don't customize them, but adapt to those profiles. Know that they exist. Know that there is a direct correlation on how we can measure success for each individual profile. 2 months from now, 6 months from now, we might find out that 2 of the 4 profiles are not effectively converting. They're not effectively engaging with us. What does that tell us? Then let's focus on the other 2 areas and look at other ways to engage those other 2 audiences. Next, strategy. How do we look at what actual platforms to use? At this point, are we using Facebook? Should we use Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, email marketing? What is the strategy? How are we going to create a strategy that achieves the objectives of who we're trying to talk to? We need to know where they are. We need to know how they're interacting. Are they mocks? Are they working daily? Are they allowed on Facebook? We need to get an idea in order to determine an effective strategy to eventually come up with the right type of messaging strategy. We need to communicate to who we're trying to talk to. When you're on the internet today, you've got the luxury of customizing your interaction. Well, they expect the same when they're trying to work with you, learn more about you. Is this a good fit in the relationship? And then finally, metrics and measure. So, social media strategy, there's 5 steps to it. What do you got to do? How do we approach it? We create a plan. We build a presence. Web content, very, very critical. What type of content are we going to post? It's not about PR. It's not just about shouting at people following you. It's about content that they find engaging, that they want to have a conversation with. It's taking your social interactions offline and figuring out how to bring them online. Are we going to try to leverage user-generated content? How do we get our audience to submit a bunch of videos of a very old jingle that everybody knows? Garfield 12323. Everybody's got their own interpretation of Garfield. Everybody knows, but how many people actually know what they do? So how do we take that? What's that? Aluminum siding. Siding, roofing, and one other thing. I don't remember though. But you've got that opportunity to develop a specific type of content. If I'm Garfield 12323, maybe I'm putting content out there about how to keep your house more energy efficient, so that people are just interested in that information, but when they know they've got the dollars in the pocket, they need to invest or insurance is going to cover something, that name's already on the top of their head. They've already got that relationship built up. Monitor and measure your progress. Great thing about digital. You can do this every day. You can get your analytics report and study the hell out of them every day, every week, every month, every quarter. Why is that important? Why do I emphasize that so aggressively? It's because that's the data you need to make decisions about. You don't come up with a strategy plan online and then a week later or a year later look at everything. We need to know what's going on. It's living, it's breathing. We can change it tomorrow. We can change it next week. When it comes to social media, the content you're putting out there could change tomorrow. But why? Well, now that we have a presence, now that we're starting to collect data, information, traffic, where people are coming from, are they going to the website? Are they coming from Facebook? Is it the email campaign? We need to take this information and in a knowledge-based way, make informed decisions on how we want to move forward month to month. And then finally, integrating it into other marketing mediums. Making sure that whatever we're doing with the branding, with the messaging, with the success, with the content, it's consistent across all marketing mediums. So, this is a graph to give you an idea about how people look to target different profiles or markets online. I know it's a little bit difficult to see. But what it does is two things. In this column here, breaks down 6 different ways people interact online. You've got creators, people publishing content. You've got critics, those that are commenting. You've got collectors, people just getting all this information to use and read. You've got joiners, people on the community sites like Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, YouTube. You've got spectators that are just kind of, I don't know. And you've got people that aren't even interested, inactives. And what this graph does is kind of a nice job break it down by demographic of how different demos are interacting as of 2009 in social media. It starts off at the age of 12 and ends up at 62 plus. So you can kind of see the trends in the graphs of where different people interact with social media. Now, I'm not saying this is an indication that younger people are more engaged. There's no argument, and there's no doubt about it. But this kind of side of the audience towards the end here are starting to get more engaged in different ways. The big way is critics. They want to talk. If it's about politics, they want to comment. They want to get involved. But it's just a matter of building up confidence and building up a level of relationship that they know they're going to be comfortable in that environment. 3 rules of social media to bring home with you. 1, quality of content is king. The content that you are putting out there is representing the conversations you would have at an event like this, at a networking event, at a meeting, at a sales pitch. It's quality content. They're buying you. And that still goes for online. You can't be shouting. You can't be putting out BMWs just in, hot sale coming on. Who wants to hear that? You know, they're looking for meaningful content. Viral isn't created, it happens. You can't just put a video together, throw it out there, and hope it gets viral. That doesn't work that way. You can't just create viral. Your audience, the people you're trying to talk to, they need to create viral. Good example. We have a client that manufactures hydroponic media. It's something that you can grow plants in water indoors. And they work with distributors and retailers, but they need to get to the end consumer about their product. So with that market, we wanted to take a how-to approach. It's a new market. People don't understand necessarily all the best practices, how to build a system, what to do with the system, and how to make it work. So we took the approach of putting some video content out on the web and target the end consumer of some best practices. Well, sure enough, within 6 months, we've had over almost 500,000 views on YouTube, which isn't anything tremendously huge, but very impactful because they've made a presence to the end consumer that is now going into retail stores and demanding the product. They liked it. They engaged with it. We continued to make more. We did a little bit of testing in the meantime to see what works, what might not work, and continue to improve that and watch videos as we release them get better and better and grow quicker and quicker as they get out there. Viral is not created. It happens. And finally, don't shout. Avoid forcing active marketing content into passive media. You can't just put anything out there and hope somebody's going to read it like a direct mailing piece. You need to get it where it's a point of interaction, engagement, relationship, and make it social. Again, we look at this opposite graph. Engagement, relationship, attraction. We're not trying to throw things out there, attract a bunch of people to get in, they buy, and then develop a relationship. We need to engage them, know that we're a social company, develop the relationship, and then be able to sell them. You get more sales, you get more word of mouth traffic, it's more credible and qualified leads. So,